Again, as usual, I do request all the people to maintain focus, because this is a very crucial, very important session. According to me, personally, for me, this has been one of the most important sessions. The content here, I have a request to all the participants. I need a bit of flexibility in case I am not able to complete the entire content this time. I will take it to the next episode, the eighth episode. Why am I telling that? It's because sometimes, in the drive to complete content, we will lose quality. So I don't want that to happen. So I would probably try to focus on the content, but without the focus on completion. So if we are able to complete, fantastic. If we are not able to complete, then what we do is we will take any of that leftover portion. I will take it to the next episode, right? So I hope everybody understands this request of mine. I have not made this request earlier. This is specifically for this episode because this episode is quite crucial. I hope you understand the importance of this episode. And in my own life, this has been a game changer. This has been an important episode. So give me that flexibility. If I'm not able to complete a couple of slides, I'll take it to the next session. But anyway, let's move forward. Last class or last two episodes, we spoke about 10 presupposition of the 20% of the world's population. So these are not my words, or these are not pulled out of any book. These are statistics of how extraordinary people in this world have a preset belief. They have some preset norms, and this is across the world. Wherever you go, people who are extraordinary, they have this. इससे ज्यादा भी होंगे, 15-20 भी होंगे, लेकिन 10 popular ones, like these are the ones which usually you can come across people believing, so that they take care of all their limiting beliefs. It's like an antivirus to the limiting beliefs. So if you have these set of beliefs with you or presuppositions with you, then you will be able to counter a lot of disempowering opinions or disempowering beliefs. So we recounted those 10 in the last two episodes. I hope you people have done a little thought process on this. This is very important. Don't consider this just as some text or some ordinary content. This is very powerful. You pick up any one, it has a huge impact on your own personality, right? So if you're able to do this, it's like a benchmark. Whenever you transact with people or you transact with your own self, it's like you're setting a beautiful filter which allows rock solid, good information to flow to you, and it avoids and it filters out a lot of rubbish. So I'm just reading it out once again. Everything popular may not be right. So human beings usually fall for popular stuff, right? Popular things ke liye we fall for it. So this already says that please check the information before accepting it. So everything popular may not be right. We have within us all the resources we'll ever need. Imagine if you have this belief. You will never crib and complain, right? You will never tell that you don't have enough. If you believe that I already have everything I need to achieve whatever I have to achieve in life, then what happens to you? You become so resourceful. Everything happens for a purpose, and it's best for me. Most of the people, when things happen to them, they regret, right? In that whole regret, the bus is missed. The train is, the train goes away, and they never achieve things. So having a belief saying that anything, maybe visibly or to feel, it may not be very pleasant, but there is a purpose behind that. Anything which happens to us, there's always a purpose behind that. Then the other one is, you don't have to be the best to reach the first. Most of the people think that only champs have to get first. Champions are the only ones who have to reach first. No, it could be any ordinary person who can make it big. The next is, people are my greatest resource, and I must pass the good forward. Most of us think that material or money is the resource, right? It is a resource. I don't say it is not. But if you don't have people as your connects and networks, you'll not be able to achieve much. And then passing the good forward is something very important for us. We should have it as a belief saying that anything good, I should pass it forward. Because there are a lot of people who have done a lot of good to me to be who I am today. The meaning of my communication lies in the response. This is taking complete responsibility for your own communication. So what happens? You're in control. We respond to the representation of reality, not reality itself. right? This is a very crucial one. This requires a lot of deep thinking. So all these 10 presuppositions require a lot of deep thinking. I call you, invite you to take this up, probably take a printout of this and put it somewhere you can see every day, so that this starts, you start building on these beliefs. People always make the best choice available to me. This is a very empathizing and a compassionate kind of a view, right? When you see people doing wrong, people having messed up, we tend to usually judge them, right? So to avoid being judgmental or to avoid being a judge, you always have to say the person made the choice available to that person, right? He might have messed up, but at that moment he was majboor, or he was, helpless, and he made it. So it's okay, let it be. So what happens to you? You become lighter. You're not carrying a lot of load. Disempowering assumptions can make a perfect fool out of me. We have umpteen number of examples where we assume and it turns out to be otherwise. It is not necessary to understand everything about something to be able to use it. So you don't need to know the IC engine to be able to use a bike. You don't know much about the whole, how the bike works, or how the fuel goes into the engine, and how the combustion takes place, what is the air intake and the ratio and the gear transformation. You don't need all that. You just need to use the bike, right? So have a belief saying that I have to, the end is more important than the means. So that's the concept you need to have. So with this, this is the quick review of all the last two episodes, 5 and 6. We move forward to episode 7, and I call the episode 7 as the umbrella of life. Let's move forward with this. In ancient India and ancient parts of the world, they used to consider monkeys as a very solid delicacy. So they used to eat monkeys, and it was a delicacy in past days. This is not immediate past. This is quite a bit past days. It is noted that monkeys used to be a delicacy. So to catch monkeys, what people used to do, they used to keep a pot with a very, very narrow neck, and they used to fill up the pot with peanuts. So the monkeys love peanuts, right? So the monkeys used to come, put their hand into the pot of peanuts, grab hold of a big chunk of peanuts in their fist. They used to fill in the entire fist with peanuts, and then they used to try to pull their hand out. Now, what happens when they're trying to pull their hand out? Since the fist is full of peanuts, the hand used to get stuck in the pot, and it wouldn't come out. It would come out only if the monkey released the peanuts. The only way the monkey could get away or escape from this pot is by giving up the peanuts. But it was noted that 10 out of 10 times the monkey would not leave the peanut. So he used to get caught and end up on the plate, right? This is a true story. This is not a fable. It's a true story. These are the true stories of the yesteryears, where monkeys used to be caught with this innovative method. Pot mein peanuts, the monkey used to put his hand, grab hold of the peanuts, try to pull it out. But as the monkey pulls out the peanut, the hand, he wouldn't be able to get out because his fist is full with peanuts, and he is not willing to let go. Now, what does he end up giving? I mean, what does he end up, giving up, compromising his own life for a fist full of peanuts, right? That's one of the reasons why people have this statement in the corporates: if you give peanuts, you'll get monkeys bulke. So that's the muhavara, which is an output of this thing which used to happen in the past. Now, what is the lesson you and I can take out of this? Amazing lesson. It's an amazing lesson. We all have peanuts. So many peanuts in our life. We are not willing to give up those peanuts, and we end up compromising our own existence, our own individuality, our own identity, our own potential, our own character, just because of a few peanuts. And what these peanuts could be, think about it. Think about the peanuts which are overwhelming you the day in and day out. Every single day we have a list of peanuts we are holding on to, because of which we are not able to achieve something big. Wow, just think about it. You and I have a list of peanuts we're not willing to give up. And that is costing us our own life, because every day we are losing our day, our years, right? So we need to give up before even we go into the journey of setting something big in our life. We need to understand that we need to give up this small little things which are like peanuts, and what they could be. What are your peanuts in life? I'm just giving a few examples, okay? This could be a list which I thought about, but you can explore, and I would like you to make a big list of your peanuts and throw them out. Give up these peanuts. They're not worth it, right? What are these peanuts? It could be insults and conflicts lingering in my mind for a long time. Wow, look at the energy it takes away. These are energy suckers. These are energy destroyers. Something which happened yesterday, last year, 15 days ago, 1 month ago, 10 years ago, still lingering with me in my mind is like a peanut I'm holding on to, right? If you remember, I told you about cleaning up your past, cleaning the slate, giving up the baggage. This is one of the peanuts. And you know what this does? It kills your potential. It kills you. You know, you're thinking about somebody else who made a mess out of something in the past. That incident is over. You're still with that incident. You have to give this up. Second, I spend a few days researching before I buy a need-based utility. Just a need, yeah. I just want to pick up a phone. And for that, I have to do research of hours and hours and hours together. It's nonsense. What kind of a quality of life am I leading if I'm trying to spend hours and hours and days together to pick up something which I'm just going to use? I'm upset about the scattered garbage on the road of the city. Damn it, if you can't do anything about it, it's none of your business. If you can do something, go do it. Don't hang around with it. It's a peanut. Don't hang around with it. So I'm just giving you examples. I read the daily newspaper over 2 hours per day. This is ultimate stupidity. This is the peanut, for sure. Why? There's garbage in. You're taking garbage into your system. Newspaper, news, you really know what it is, right? It can't be absolutely authentic, and it can't be absolutely delightful literature, right? Reading a newspaper for 2 hours a day? How can you burn the time out? How can you burn your potential out? Look at what you're focusing on. Loads of peanuts. Everything around me has to be perfect. The spoon on the table too. This is called, a lot of people call it OCD. Today, people don't even know how to distinguish between, trying to be disciplined versus perfection versus OCD. Somebody is trying to be disciplined, people that brand them OCD. That's not right. But if somebody is very finicky, so what's the difference between being disciplined versus being perfectionist versus having OCD? Being disciplined is to have a routine, right? Things in its order, in its place. And that rule applies only to myself. I would like to be disciplined in a particular way which suits me and makes my life easier. That is discipline. Perfectionist is, I want to be having all the things the way I want, and I want you also to implement. That is perfection. Where you enforce what you believe onto others is called perfectionism, right? It's a very dangerous journey. And OCD is when you get upset and you throw tantrums and you want everything the way you want to be, and you get very finicky about it and leads to a lot of upset. That becomes OCD when it is repetitively done, right? So please stop going out and branding people with that. The next peanut could be, brands are very important and I must get my liking. Some people go hunting for brands and, the denims and the t-shirts and God knows what not. And they spend so much of productive time. Others have to be like the way I feel right. This is what I explained. I can't resist buying especially when there's a discount sale. All these are peanuts. All the people, 80%, most of the 80% of the world's population are sucked because they are just burning out their potential and energies because they're holding on to a bunch of peanuts, just like the monkey. There's no difference between the monkey and a human being. If a human being does not understand, there are things which are insignificant in my life. I have to let them go so that I'm able to explore my true potential in life. So this is a question I would like people who have not been working with me to interact with me on this. So Neha, you can unmute people who wish to answer, right? These are, I specifically request people who have not worked with me to answer this, right? Who have not worked with me. To climb a mountain, what all do you need? You can answer. And don't make it rocket science, please. To climb a mountain, what all do you need? Anybody? Quick answer. Yes, please go ahead. Just keep answering. What all do you need?
Confidence.
Okay. You can give more answers, couple of more answers. You don't have to restrict them to one. You can give more answers. Yes.
Strength.
Okay. Confidence, strength, or what else you need? Neha, I think there are some chats, right? People are putting it on the chat.
Yes, so we have energy, direction, purpose,
Okay. Okay, good.
stamina,
Okay.
determination,
Okay.
willpower,
Okay.
planning,
Okay. To
rope,
climb
rope,
rope. Yeah, equipment, rope. Okay. Energy
mountain,
drinks.
energy, focus.
Wow, 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 wow. Okay, you unmute, mute everybody. Mute everybody. I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised. None of you gave me the answer. To climb a mountain, you need a mountain. First thing, you need a mountain. Without a mountain, what are you going to do?
There was one person who did say mountain.
Really? Okay, who is that?
Nasreen.
Exceptional, superb. To climb, I think she's heard it from before, somewhere from before. Okay. Anyway, I give her the credit. But to climb a mountain, you need a mountain first. Confidence लेके, energy लेके, rope लेके, equipment लेके, क्या करेंगे आपके पास if you don't have a mountain, right? So there's a lecturer who walked into the class with a jar like this, and he had filled it up with pebbles like this, and he asked the student. He filled up this jar with pebbles, and he asked the student, "Is this jar full?" The student said, "Yes, it is full." Then he added smaller pebbles, few smaller ones, and he shook the jar, and he showed it to the children that all the smaller pebbles were able to get into this jar and accommodate themselves in the gaps there. So then he asked the kids, "Is this jar full?" Now the kids were smart. They said, "No, you can add sand," right? So he added sand and he shook it, and he saw that the sand went and settled into the gaps again. So then he asked the children, if I had I had filled this jar with complete sand initially, would I have been able to accommodate any rock inside? The kids said, no, absolutely no. If you had sand completely, filled into this, jar, you would never be able to put even one rock, right? Our lives are exactly like this jar. If we fill in our jar with peanuts or small goals or small teeny tiny whiny goals, we will never be able to accommodate bigger things in life. And we are talking about a mountain, right? If I need to climb a mountain, I need to have a mountain. If I don't have a mountain, what's the use of having all the confidence? What's the use of having all the talent if I don't set my mountain right? Exactly like this. In a jar, if I put a couple of big rocks, what happens? If I imagine just I put two rocks in this jar, two big rocks, you know what happens? I can accommodate all the pebbles and all the sand into it. If I just have two rocks, what's the better for? If I have big things in my big goal or a couple of big goals for my life, then everything else is taken care of. I don't have to work towards it. I hope you guys get the message. So what's the master key of the people who are extraordinary? The 20%. What's the master key? They have their mountain absolutely clear. Absolutely clear. They don't have to worry about the mountain. They have the mountain right in front of them. That's their massive, massive, massive goal. One giant dream. Unless you don't chalk that one giant dream, you will be running all over the place, helter skelter. That's what happens to 80-90% of the world's population. They're running all the time because they don't have their mountain clear. They don't know where to climb. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to explore. So the first thing a human being needs to do, if at all you are trying to set something for life, you're trying to set something serious for yourself, you need to have your mountain clear. And once you have your mountain clear, it's very easy for you to head the journey. Now, I'm taking you through a quick, short kind of a process how we can arrive to this big, giant dream, right? How can we arrive to that? What do you need to do? Human beings always model. We always look at others, copy and understand and adapt. And that's an inbuilt model. There's nothing wrong in copying, right? As far as you're copying it right, the method, the process, the stages, the steps, everything is right. So what do we know about the 20% of the world's population? What's their attitude? What's their master attitude? When they have the master key of having a mountain, what's their master attitude? How do they approach that process, right? You need to know that process. So they have something very unique. This is very unique to these people. What do? As I said, absolute clarity. They will never ever move forward or take action until they have this process in place. What is the process? They have to have clarity of purpose. Then they have to have a plan, and they have to have their principles in place. These three are very clear for the 20%. Why the 80% of the world's population struggles? Because they always are in action, right? They're always taking up one task, two tasks, small tasks, and they're trying to battle. They already have a big bag of peanuts on them, and then they are also trying to do a lot of things which the world is telling, which is so popular. Go and do this, and they do that, and the next day they take up some other task. So they absolutely don't have a purpose. Forget about the plan. Purpose rahega to plan aayega na, right? So the 3 P's of life are very crucial if you really want to tread the journey of the extraordinary. Purpose, plan, and principles. All the 3 are very important. So for this, that's the reason I call it the umbrella of life. Because sometimes metaphors and pictures have very powerful representations that you understand how you need to, define yourself. These are all tools of representing information to your own selves, right? So in a stormy weather, in rain, like how this life is, you have this life is full of difficulties, storms, rains, and all that. In that, you need to have your umbrella right. And what does an umbrella have? It has 3 parts. One is the canopy. Second are the spokes holding this canopy together and giving shape to this canopy. And the third is the handle which you hold on to keep the umbrella stable and useful, right? So I reiterate, the umbrella has 3 components, right? The first component is the canopy, which is the most important. Without the canopy, you don't have an umbrella, right? Second component are the spokes which hold and give definition to this canopy. And the third is the handle which you hold so that the umbrella is in your control, as well as the umbrella serves its purpose. So now I've represented the canopy as your vision in life, right? And the spokes as the goals, and the handle as the values. Okay, these are the 3 components of the umbrella of life. This is your umbrella of life, right? So your vision can be different from my vision. Your goals can be different from my goals. Values, we might have a lot of common values we share, right? So vision generally should not change. If you have a vision for life, it should not change. Goals can be changing anytime. It can be very flexible. That's why it's called means. Vision is the end. Goals are the means. What happens to 80% of the world's population? they pick up goals and think that that is the end. They pick up small goals and think that that is the end. So that's why they're running behind goals and they don't have a vision, right? So these three, so this the first part, the vision is the purpose, which is your giant dream, the mountain. You should have that. Without that, all your goals are meaningless. They're scrap. They're of no value, right? The purpose should be in place. The plan. What is the plan? Your goals have a plan, actually, right? Why? Because they are the means to reach the end. All your goals which you take up or you write down or you decide to do 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, all have to be aligned towards the purpose, to the vision. If they are not aligned, right, the canopy will not be in shape. All the spokes of the umbrella need to be aligned and together, working with the canopy of the umbrella, right? So it makes sense, right? The handle is the principles, the values, the principle. You hold tight to them. You don't move, you don't budge. Even if there's a storm, your umbrella has to be stable. You hold very tight to your values. You don't compromise on it. Makes sense? It's a beautiful example, right? So I will just give you some important inputs of how you're going to write down, because I don't want to complicate things for you guys. Because anything complex, the brain starts rejecting. The nervous system rejects it. So I want to make it as simple as possible. So I've given you three parts. Umbrella ke three parts hain. One is the canopy, one is the spokes, and one is the handle, right? The canopy stands for the vision, which is the most important part of the umbrella, right? Which is the purpose, which is your mountain. You have to define that. Then the spokes, which work in tandem with the canopy, are the goals. The goals can be many, any, many, multiple, multitude, and they can be flexible, they can be dynamic, they can change. But usually the vision doesn't change. The values is like the handle of the umbrella. So I hope I've made myself clear on this. This is very important. Keep this picture for life. Keep this picture because it gives you a lot of clarity. You will not muddle it up. You will not mix it up. Most of the people mix up their goals with the purpose, and then they mix up the purpose with the goals, and they get into a spin. They don't understand where they are going, right? I see a lot of people, big people, CEOs of companies, MDs of companies, who don't have a differentiation between goals and a purpose, right? So this is very important. So what did I do? And now I've segmented it and gone a bit deeper for you to understand. In one single screenshot, you should be able to capture your entire stuff of life. One single screenshot, like how umbrella is a good representation of your vision, goals, and values. You should have another screen which gives you three divisions very clearly and a little elaboration. So I'm just elaborating the umbrella basically in this slide. So I hope you get along with me on this. Keep your focus. Keep this slide absolutely, with you. It'll really help. So as I said, the first is vision. Vision is the end goal, right? You need to have absolute clarity and focus on the end goal. I call it accountability to God. My end goal is my accountability to God who created me. So this is my personal way of representing it. The values, the compass. Imagine you have a fantastic vehicle, right? But it doesn't have the GPS or the compass. You have a ship. You have a massive ship, right? And you're out in the seas. There are storms, there are opportunities and all that, right? And you're out in the sea, but you don't have a compass. The entire ship is of no value if it does not have a compass. Correct? A compass is a very insignificant, small part of the ship, but it's so important, right? It is so crucial for us to direct our ship of life towards something meaningful. So compass can be your values, which you really need to work and explore on, which again can be your core beliefs. Values can be the core beliefs you have, how you deal with yourself, how you deal with people. All that matters here. What you choose, what you reject. For example, I'll give you an example. Somebody has the vision to build a 500-bed hospital for the poor at very subsidized cost. Okay, this is their vision. Why are they doing this? To please God. I'm just giving you an example out of the blue. Okay, somebody has a vision. What is a vision? Vision is usually something you do for others to be able to get thawab, punya, all these things, whatever most of the people believe that you need to have do good deeds to be able to please God, right? So when a person has a vision of having a 500-bed hospital for the poor, and he wants to have this done within the next 5 years, and for that he decides to go and rob a bank. He goes online and says, I'll do online robbery, I'll rob a bank. So he pulls out $10 or 100 rupees or 200 rupees from each account, which none of you or I would even suspect. If I lose 100 rupees from my account, I wouldn't even know, right? So like that, he robs about 1 lakh accounts. He takes 100, 200 rupees and he builds a hospital. Is this an alignment? Absolutely no. He's doing a wrong deed to enable a noble purpose. Not acceptable, right? So there's something wrong with his values. So values is something which gives you a litmus test or a benchmark for you to choose your process of the means and the end. If you see the values on the right side, it supports the means and the end both. So this list of values can go on. It can be so different for you and for me, right? So you need to explore your core values and define them, write them down. These are what are values? Stuff you will never compromise on. Simple. You will never compromise. You will give up your life, but you will never compromise on. That is called values, and it can happen to be your core beliefs as well. Now coming to goals. Now here, this is the most important part. I'm explaining this part a bit because most of the people do not understand what goals are, right? So I said goals are the means to the end. They are not the end itself, correct? So what are the goals? You can have an array of goals, right? And these are dynamic, as I said. You can keep shifting, changing, moving, upgrading, downscaling. So the first part of goals is to take care of our parents, right? These are goals because by taking care of parents, I can reach my vision of pleasing my creator. That's the end goal. So this is a means goal. So you need to understand the difference. A lot of people submit completely to the parents and almost start worshipping the parents to an extent that even if the parents say something wrong, they say, I obey and I do it, which is not right, right? Which is not ethically right. If my parents tell me to do something wrong, I'm supposed to deny it with good due respect. I should have the distinction because that's just a means. My parents, myself, my children, my family, my neighborhood, all these are means for me to exhibit my excellence in character. They're all my means, they're not the end. So, this distinction is very important. Why we get emotional and caught up with all this is because we think our parents or our siblings or our spouse, they are the end. We think that they are the end, they are the ultimate. And that makes us get into a big soup. So, this distinction is very important. So, you have parents, you have family, work, money, team, nation, nature, all this, every single stuff around us are a part of our means goals. So I can probably take my parents and then do the best I can, consider my family, do the best. About my work, I can do the best. About my the money which I have, I can do my best. You make use of all these so that my end goal is aligned, my vision is met. If I do all this, if I spend all my time on my means and the end is not achieved, then this entire means goes waste, right? So we have to be very careful about this. And most important thing is, as I said, vision is my accountability to God or duties towards creator, and the means is duty towards the creation. So this distinction is very important. You should not mix up these two things. I mean, this is irrespective of what kind of belief you have, whatever you're following. It is irrespective. This will appeal to any human being. This entire understanding of making these three segments clear appeals to any human being, right? So now, what do you do once you arrive at this? Defining your vision of life, then defining your goals. You have to deep dive. You have to go to the next level, right? Now you have to make it measurable. You have to set it in a measured format. So what's that measure? How do you measure? So we go back to our areas of life. You remember we discussed about the different areas of life, and we chalked out that there are about 5 to 6 different areas of life we consider. And then those areas of life are spiritual, personal, family, relationships, health, and wealth. These are 6 areas of life. In fact, if you go back to this slide, the means goals are usually the areas of life. If you look at them, parents, family, work, money, team, nation, nature, all that comes under areas of life. So I'm just making this a little more clearer in terms of the slide itself. So if I take areas of my life, the important areas of my life, if I look at these 6 areas, I can choose for the next 6 months or 1 year focused development of habits on these 6 areas. For example, I'm just giving you example. I'm giving you you should have the complete liberty to choose your own goals or your own the habits you want to develop, right? If you develop it in the form of a habit, the goal becomes more richer and easier. So if you convert your goals into habits, it becomes more richer and easier. And for that, what you need to do, you'll have to work back on your belief system. So we come back to the belief system. If you work on your beliefs, like if you have your purpose absolutely clear in your belief system, if you have your end goal completely clear in your belief system, you have to write it down and keep telling again and again. And then if you have your means goals completely clear in your belief system, and then if you have your values that you're not going to compromise completely clear as a part of your belief system, what happens? Automatically your habits start aligning. Any habit you pick up will align towards those beliefs. Otherwise, what are you doing? You'll be running a very hard game. So I'm just taking for the sake of example, spiritual goals. So all these are means goals and these can become habits, right? So spiritual goal, I'm just giving you an example. I will spend 10% of my income for the needy and the poor, especially in my relative circle, right? I will spend 10% of my time on field serving the poor. So this could be a means goal. Yeah, it's a means goal through the area of life of spirituality, which will help me achieve my end goal. Make sense? Right, superb. So we'll go ahead. Personal goals. I will read. I will develop a habit of reading. I will develop a new skill or I'll get mentored on a particular skill. This could be on your personal development side. Just giving you examples. Third, family. I will spend more time with my family. I will be more expressive with my family. Now, I'll give you what's the meaning of more. Okay, I'll just give you because it could be a very floating statement. I'll just come to that. I'm sure you have a question on that. I'll come to that. Next, I will change my friends. I will make meaningful people as my circle of friends. So this could be another area. Health. I will gain muscle. I will drink more water. Right. So again, I'll come back to the more part of it. Wealth. I lead a life of need versus greed. I will be focusing more on the need part. I am not going to be greedy. I'm going to quit being greedy and trying to acquire more. Then I will create a personal library for myself so that my wealth of knowledge also increases. Right. So anyway, I've just put these aspects. Now, this has to be moderated with something which is quite famously known across the world in terms of goal setting. and that is called the SMART principle. All these aspects of habits which you have noted down, or the tasks which you're taking up, have to be validated by something called a SMART. What is SMART? You have to write down these goals as specifics. S is for specific, it should be specific. M, measurable. A, achievable. R, realistic. T, time bound. All these five aspects have to be included in every single goal you've written. All these are means goals, right? So you have to write. For example, I'll take up health, because health is one of the things which is messed up in the Indian subcontinent. So I'm talking about gaining muscle. So I'll have to write gain muscle with muscle increment of 20% from the current state. Drink H2O, drink pani. Kitna pani piyenge? I will increase drinking water by 2 glasses per day, right? It should be specific, it should be measurable, it's achievable. I can't say I'm going to drink 25 glasses a day. Not achievable, right? Realistic and time bound per day. If I'm saying I'll drink water, 2 more glasses of water per day, you made it very achievable. And why are you doing this? To maintain fitness. Why are you doing this? Because I have to run the race to get my vision. My vision, my purpose, my mountain is very important. I do not want to compromise with my mountain. That is the reason I have to do this. You know why most people are not able to go into a fitness regime? Why most people are not able to make savings of their money? Because they don't have a purpose. If you don't have a mountain, what will you take all this and do? What is the use of all that? You know, when you attach all these small little things, the means goals, into a purpose, there's a big chance that they can convert into strong habits. I hope you get this point. I just hope, I pray that you get this point. This is so crucial, right? So applying the SMARTS principle to all this will give you a definition, right? Like, for example, gain muscle. How much of muscle? 20% of muscle. Reduce 20% fat, and replace it with 20% muscle in the next 6 months. You have to put a time to it. Otherwise, it's insignificant. It becomes a floating goal, right? So this is done. Once you do this, you also reinforce and understand this is just to reinforce the episode 4, I think 4 or 5, where we understood that habits are developed because of the roots. It's not because of this. The habit doesn't just pop up. It has a very strong root if you start discovering it. And at the roots, there is something called as the roots of the human being are the beliefs which we carry, which get into certainty, which get into conviction, right? And these are our core values, core beliefs, which drive us to build beautiful or messy habits, either of it. So what we need to do, once you've decided on the purpose, the umbrella of your life, the purpose and the means and the values. Once you have decided on the 3 P's, the purpose, the plan, and the principles. Once you've decided on that, you incantate, you use intense vocabulary, as well as you visualize, enriched visualization karna padega. Tab baith ke you have to think about what everything happens in this world twice, once inside your mind and only then in reality. So whatever you do in life, you always think about it once inside your mind and then implement it in reality. So visualization is one of the methods in which you can install a lot of powerful beliefs. So keep incantating. Incantating is telling things again and again to yourself, affirmations, incantations, and then use beautiful intensity. Let me see if I can lose weight. It's a dhila intensity. I must gain muscle. I must gain 20% muscle in the next 6 months. Look at the intensity. Look at the, confidence in which you're telling your own self, right? That's why a lot of people do this anchoring. They shout out loud and do all that. But anyway, you can find your own way of how to make it more intense and visualize clearly in the screen of your mind what your mountain is. First, keep visualizing the mountain. That is very important. If you have the mountain, everything else automatically falls into place. If you don't have the mountain, you will be struggling with the means goals. So this is very crucial. And this is what leads to people either turning out into 20% or remaining as the 80% who keep crying for everything. as I told in the first episode, one of the most important things for a human being is to control his state, is to be able to be in control of his state. Uske halat mein, right? And halat and hal and state is about the present, not about the past. It's about the present, which can have an immense impact on the future. And if you are people, if I keep, you know, keep myself engaged in the past, I'm assured to be in the 80%. I have to leave the past. It is done, dusted. It was my destiny. It was what has to happen. That is it. Let me move forward. I have something called as the present with me, which is a gift, and I have something called as the future, which I can impact. So how I should be, manage my state every single moment, time, second, hour, day, and a month. That's how you can manage your state, being present to the right now kind of moment, being present and thinking that this is the moment I have. I can use this to do something really significant. That way you can move forward. So resourceful state versus the unresourceful. The resourceful state happens because a person is purpose oriented, has a plan, has principles, has empowering beliefs, develops empowering beliefs, and has the power to reframe. If there's a problem with the linguistic structure, he knows how to reframe. If there's a visual problem in representing information wrongly, he reframes the visual and converts it to suit his empowering beliefs, so that his principles are intact, his plan is in the flow, and his purpose is met. So comprehensive, so comprehensive. 20%ers are so sure because they have this unbelievable confidence in this entire system. Purpose, plan, principles, empowering beliefs, strong beliefs, and the capability of reframing gives them a lot of flexibility. Whereas people on the other side, unresourceful state, people who are always nagging, crying, cribbing, complaining, are the people who are short sighted. They don't have a mountain. They have only means goal. They want the next car, the next house, the next branded wear. It's a rat race. They have disempowering beliefs, and they have the illness of the heart. They don't like other people to succeed. They don't like others if they achieve, and they are very, very rigid. They cannot reframe. They're stuck on to the past. They're stuck on with things of the past which haunt them day in and day out. They're miserable. They every by the passing day, they become worse. They become more miserable, and they are never to get out of there, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that they believe in what they believe in what they believe. So that's about it for today, and we come back. I think probably the schedule would be again next Saturday, because it makes it convenient for people. So till then, stay home and stay safe. Thank you so much.
Do we have to wait for a whole week to get the last?
Let's see if our team can organize it midweek, but then some people have been preferring the weekends. So we're trying to do it for their convenience.
Oh, mashallah.
Thank you very much once again.